5. Basic requirements. This section will provide you with what you need to start licensing your music in film, TV, and other media. PRO registrations. Make sure that your songs are registered with a performing rights organization such as ASCAP, BMI, SESAC, and SOCAN in Canada, because they collect associated performance royalties and distribute money to affiliated songwriters and publishers. You don't want to be in a situation where you've placed a song without actually having registered it. Without a registration, you won't be able to collect performance royalties. A late registration might cause you to lose money that is difficult to backclaim. Please note that the performing rights organizations do not collect sync fees. Those have to be collected separately by you from the music supervisor directly. Pre-clearances. As we'll see later, there are a number of different ways to get involved in licensing your music, whether by offering your music in a blanket license agreement or for individual projects. You can make the process of music licensing easier for yourself and for the music supervisor by pre-clearing your music so that you can more easily license your songs. What does it mean to have your music pre-cleared? Well, it means that you have written and signed permission from all people involved in a song, giving you permission to license both the publishing rights and the recordings of the song. You need to get permission ahead of time from all those who wrote the music and lyrics to a song, as well as from the owner of the master recording of the song. Avoid this hypothetical nightmare scenario. You've written a song with 4 people, and one of them's a drummer who you haven't seen in 3 years. A record producer has allowed you to use his recording studio to record the song in exchange for a 50% ownership interest in the master recording. Suddenly, a music supervisor wants to license your song for $20,000 for the upcoming episode of Grey's Anatomy, and you only have 24 hours to get the licensing paperwork signed by everyone involved. Can you get in touch and permission from everyone involved within the next 24 hours? Are you allowed to sign on everyone's behalf? What if the record producer demands $100,000 for his permission? More often than not, song placement opportunities fall through because music publishers can't get the approval of all the people involved quickly enough. Needless to say, a disappointed music supervisor might not want to work with you again when that happens. Naturally, you can't always have all songs pre-cleared, as some composers might not agree on the minimum amount of money that they would be willing to accept, or they might not be willing to license that song for a particular kind of campaign, tobacco ad, or alcohol. To avoid disappointing a music supervisor and to avoid burning bridges, only pitch songs that you know you can clear in a reasonable amount of time, or pre-clear the songs whenever possible. At the very least, make sure you understand what restrictions a song might have before you pitch it, so you can avoid surprises. Take a look at your catalog. Discern if there are certain songs that you can pre-clear for quick licensing. For example, you have a large catalog consisting of hip-hop instrumentals that you want to license to VH1, and you want to offer that catalog as a blanket license to them. In this case, make sure that the blanket license has all compositions pre-cleared for usage. Caution: samples. As a special caution to music publishers pitching hip-hop tracks, make sure you do not pitch tracks that have samples from other songs in them. If a producer used a sample from another song in a hip-hop track and did not obtain permission from the original composer of that song ahead of time, you cannot license that track. Song pitch system. Now, there are a number of ways that people go about pitching music. Many professional music publishers build an online pitch system that makes it easy to post customized playlists with links to music on their websites. To get you started, you may consider using music sites like SoundCloud or Bandcamp. In the long term, these sites should serve only as your secondary option because they're used primarily by amateurs. You may want to get a white label solution like mynexthit.com that allows you to pitch from your own domain. You can feature background information on yourself and your music on a press page. Note, however, that these types of press pages are not ideal for pitching songs for more than one project. Your song pitch system should contain a few important components. 1. The ability to create custom playlists on the fly that allow you to reorder songs. 2. Giving recipients the ability to preview songs without having to download songs or zip folders, although this can be an additional option. 3. Your contact details. 4. Statistics that show you know which songs have been previewed or downloaded. This will make your follow-up more efficient. This component is optional, but useful. Website. You absolutely want to have a web page to direct a music supervisor to so they can get more information about you, your credentials, and the music you represent. Create a website that is your own domain to look professional. Remember, these websites cost virtually nothing to make and only a small amount of time to set up. Just buy a website template on Template Monster or ThemeForest and hire a web developer to customize it for you, all for less than $100. Don't confuse having your own domain with just having a URL or profile page on SoundCloud. You need your own fully registered domain that contains a proper website. If your music career is something you're serious about, whether you are a publisher, composer, artist, or otherwise, you absolutely need to have your own website to look professional. Metadata. Since you'll be submitting a lot of music to different music supervisors, you want to tag your music with the appropriate metadata. Metadata are tags that make it easier for a music supervisor to find your music with a search tool or iTunes on a computer. Things you need to include in these tags are genre, subgenre, mood, sound-alike tags, your website, your company name, your contact info, as an example, your email or your phone number. Note: WAV files sometimes lose their metadata when being sent. Make sure you check that everything can be imported properly. Another tip is to always capitalize the song titles or any other information that you enter into your metadata so that it's easier to read. Full and instrumental tracks. When you bounce your songs, bounce an instrumental version and a version with both the vocals and the instrumental. Sometimes the instrumental part of a song might fit a specific scene perfectly, but the vocals get in the way. To give a supervisor that additional option, do the work ahead of time. Key takeaways. Register with a performing rights organization, PRO. Pre-clear your music whenever possible. Use a song pitch system. Set up a personal website highlighting your music. Embed all relevant metadata. Make both a fully mixed, voice and instrumentals, and a purely instrumental version of your songs available.